And it's time for another full update on the Gremlin build. I want to apologize there wasn't an update last week. I had some family issues I had to take care of, but that just means we're going to get a double update this week, starting with under the hood. So I don't remember exactly where we left off, but I figure we'll start under the hood here, where we finished this week with building out a new distributor and spark plug wires. You can see I've left the wires loose, kind of just running to where they need to go. So I've got to finish that up yet. I got to put some plugs in and finish that up. But we did get the distributor in done. Oh, I also added in a firewall. I don't think I've mentioned that yet on these full updates. So I built out a firewall just using some cardstock, kind of built out what the firewall is going to look like, and then did it in styrene. Took 2 tries on this, actually. I did one attempt where I attached this top part to the body first, and then when I went to attach the firewall to it, it just bent the body. So I had to rip all that out, and then did it the other way. I attached the firewall to the top part, and then bent the top of the firewall up to match the body, and that actually worked and keeps this body line nice and flush back here and doesn't warp it out of shape like it was before. So anyways, had to do the firewall twice, but we got that done. Actually 4 attempts on the distributor. I guess 4 attempts in all on the distributor and plug wires. In fact, you probably remember this was our original plug distributor and spark plug wires, which looked okay, but I just wasn't crazy about it. It looked too much like wire and not like plug wires. And then I went to another attempt here where I actually actually using hookup wire as the plug wire, and then I'm just heat shrinking them to the distributor. I made some little nubs. In fact, let's see, I can probably show you. Where's light background? See, I made these little nubs here, and that's what I'm heat shrinking the plug wires to make that connection, along with a drop of CA glue in there just to make sure it's nice and permanent. So this was my next attempt where I had those nubs facing upways, which it didn't look good because it made too much of a bend in the wires. So then I went to this one where I sent them out. Instead of up, they went out, which kind of worked, but still put some big loops in it like this. So my last attempt was, because let me also mention, I want to make sure and get my wires going to the correct cylinder. So I wanted to actually, go that extra step and make them go to the right direction with the correct firing order, and then go into the right cylinder. So what I ended up doing, if I open the hood again, I pointed those little nubs in the direction they needed to go, which cleaned up, or at least put less of a bend in the wires back here. This one, I think I'm going to try to tuck in there a little bit better, but I think in the end, it makes for a pretty clean install. It doesn't look too bad. I'm happy with it. Now, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and pull this body off, and we can look at something else that we did. This is actually 2 weeks ago. Wanted to add some detail up front. We had the oil cooler, and we built out this core support and all that kind of thing. But I want to add some detail that we'll be able to see through the grill. And in fact, I had mentioned a couple weeks ago in the shorts that I'm going to remock this grill with a little bit more space between these ribs so that we can actually see through them a little better, and we'll see this detail just a little bit better. I just want a hint of something back behind the grill, if that makes sense. Of course, we still got to add the lights in. This is where these will be the marker lights here. We'll be adding those in yet. But I've just created in Tinkercad some AN fittings, painted those up, and then the line I'm using, this wire I'm using, in fact, I've got it right over here. Let me grab it for you. This is some beading wire that I found at either Hobby Lobby or Michael's, one of those big box stores. You can find it in the beading section. I guess they make bracelets or necklaces out of this. I don't know, but it's really thick. It's basically, it kind of looks like solder, but it's not. And it works well, I think, for these oil lines. And I've got them just kind of running back to the oil pan under here. I still have to make the connection to the oil pan. So I'll use more AM fittings like this to the oil pan. Of course, we've also got to make the connection for the plug wires. I'll probably do all that at the same time, kind of underneath and on the side of the motor and the block there. But I think it adds a nice detail. I'm going to be doing the same thing here for the hoses. I'll use some basically AN fittings, and then I'll probably just maybe 3D print the hoses, or I'm not sure what I'll do the hosing out of, but I want to just add AN fittings everywhere. I think it gives a nice kind of detailed look. Of course, you can let me know what you think down in the comment section, what you think. I think it adds some scale to it, so adds some nice detail. Anyway, so we got that gets the front end finish. I did add, let's see if I can come around this way. I don't remember what all we've looked at so far, but I did add in or glue in and paint up and everything the fan itself, which really does hide that. It really does hide the servo. You can't even tell a servo's down there. And then I added some detail here. Hopefully, let me just turn this around so we can see a little better. I tried to add in some detail on the back side because this is more the side of the core support that we're going to see. So I added in the same light detail here, add some ribs, just trying to give some shape and depth to it. Of course, we'll be adding, like I said before, we'll be adding in the marker lights here. But I just wanted to give a little more detail back here. Where we actually will be seeing when we have the hood open, we'll be able to see in there. Oh, and here's the back side of the distributor. You can kind of see. I'm thinking about adding. I don't know how to say it, but a flat plate on top here, kind of like the MSD distributors, how they have the flat piece that sits on top that the plug boots kind of plug into. I might add that just to kind of clean this up a little bit. And also, I'm thinking about adding a. What do you call it? An ignition box back here on the firewall. It could run a wire to it, kind of like an MSD setup, an MSD ignition setup. And speaking of the firewall, I also went ahead and printed a brake booster and master cylinder here that'll be going on the firewall. It is far too big right now. Let me see if I can get this open with one hand. It's way too big. I need to scale it down. Every time I do this, I'm bad at measuring and then getting the right scale. But I need to scale this down, and then we'll be putting that on the firewall. That's kind of the next, I think what we'll be doing on Monday, is adding details back here to the firewall. Oh, I also wanted to mention this firewall is still loose down here, on the bottom side. Now, of course, it's all glued up top here, as you can see. But it's still loose on the bottom side because I'm going to be building out a interior tub that's going to be going in there, and I wanted that to marry up to this firewall, so I didn't want to glue it in a specific place just yet until I have that tub done, and then it can all kind of fit together, and then we'll build out this the transmission tunnel. So I wanted to point that out. So if you see it kind of leaning back or moving around, that's what's going on there. We just haven't finalized where it's going. Plus, we're going to be putting in inner fender wells, so it might need to move around, or it might not need to be in a specific place just yet until we get those inner fender wells in also. So I've left that loose. Just wanted to mention that. But anyways, I tell you what, let me put this back together, and then we'll get one final look and kind of wrap up this update. All right, so I got to put it all back together, got the body back on. And there was one thing, as I was lifting the hood and putting the prop, there's one thing I forgot to mention that we talked about, I guess a couple weeks ago in the shorts updates. What we're going to end up doing, I had talked about doing a prop rod, and then we had talked about doing spring loading these hinges, because that's the way the real Gremlin hinges are done, is with a spring. And then I had a great comment about just using magnets. So basically putting a magnet on the hinge, the top side of this bottom of this hinge, and then on the bottom side of the body there, so that when you open it, it'll hold it up like that. So the magnets will hold it up or hold it open, and then magnets will hold it closed. And I think that's a good idea. And what I think I'm going to do also is I'll just add in a spring maybe. Well, you might not even see it, so it might not even be worth doing. I was thinking about adding in a spring just to give the looks, but probably not, because we're not going to be able to see it because of the firewall. So I'll just do the magnets. In fact, I've got them on order. I just need them to get here, and then that'll be an easy way to keep this hood open. So I wanted to mention that also. The other thing I think I'm going to be doing is popping this filter off, making that a little bit larger. It seems a little undersized to me. Let me know what you think down below. Is the filter a little too small? I think it is. I think I'm going to up it in size. But anyways, we're going to start working on the firewall, and then we'll also start building in fender wells. And I don't know if I ever mentioned that I kind of built a pseudo latch catch thing right here in front of the core support. I'll be adding some details in here also to the core support. And I don't know if I've mentioned either, all of this firewall, fender wells, core support, all this is all going to be body color. So that's why none of it's painted or anything like that. We'll paint all that together with the body. So that wanted to mention that also. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments. Hit that like button if you would. It really does help in the old YouTube algorithms these days. Hit the subscribe button. I'm doing at least one, sometimes two shorts every day, and I'm gonna try to up that number. YouTube's really pushing the shorts thing, so I'm gonna try to play that game. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more updates through the shorts through the week. Of course, doing the full updates here on Saturday. I also got another affiliate, I think, coming up for the channel, so there'll be a video coming out for that soon. So hit that subscribe button to keep up with all that. Leave me those comments down there, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.